Alright, welcome to the third episode of my mini-series where I go through every doubles Pokemon in PokeMMO. I gotta say, something really funny happened on the last video. When I was talking about him on top, I went live in my Twitch, which was completely accidental. I meant to just press record, but I accidentally pressed also stream, so that happened. I hope hope that doesn't happen again. But if it ever does, you know the reason why I accidentally went live. Anyways, now we got that out of the way. Let's talk about Scizor. Scizor is the third most used Pokemon in PokeMMO Doubles, and it has actually increased. It has skyrocketed in usage in like the last 6 months. It used to be like under 10%, but then people just realized how great it actually is, and it's just shot up so quickly. And I have to take a little bit of credit for that. I just tried Scizor over Metagross in a few of my teams, and I actually loved it. And I started to use it more and more, and I guess the community kind of caught up to it and realized also, wait, this thing is actually quite of a beast. So I think it jumped from like 20th to third in just a few months. So that's quite insane. But yeah, in this episode we'll look at why is that. So Scizor is the third most used Pokemon in current doubles with usage of 23.27, which kind of implies that Scizor seems like also a very splashable mon, that you can put it in any team and it does something, which seems weird because you wouldn't think that from Scizor, but I will kind of get to the reasons in a bit. So yeah, the first question is, what makes Scizor good? Well, it's a very quick and powerful setup sweeper. With just one Swords Dance, it is actually threatening the field so hard. And the main reason, however, what I would argue why Scizor is so much better than most setup sweepers, that it can kind of ignore the whole opponent's speed control because it has a priority bullet punch. So it doesn't matter if opponent is going for Tailwind or Trick Room. Scizor can always counter first, so it's basically like a Pokemon that kind of messes up your opponent's speed control and kind of in a way ignores it completely. Um, and it counters like many very relevant doubles Pokemon like Tyranitar and Mienshao. So it's there's a lot of like mons that it really heavily pressurizes, and yeah, it only has one weakness, so in many cases when it's on the field, it's relatively safe. But then on the flip side, what challenges does Scizor face? And I have a kind of a boring answer, but fire. Fire, and once again, did I say fire? Yeah, Scizor is the reason why fire is everywhere in doubles. Why so many Pokemon that normally wouldn't even use fire attacks are contemplating of using fire attacks because Scizor is just so scary. And yeah, Scizor, while it has a very respectable bulk, it just pretty much drops to one fire attack almost all the time. So protecting Scizor from fire attack is pretty much the main support that Scizor user needs. So, and that can be done with multiple ways like redirection or white card to prevent heat wave and so on. But it does need a way to not get attacked with fire. Then about nature and EVs. Well, Scizor has a very simple yet effective common EV spread, which is just max attack, max HP, and then the 4 can be put either to special defense or defense, and just adamant nature. Nothing too complicated. And if you play Trick Room, you can also put Brave Nature, but you can even play in Trick Room with adamant. That's perfectly fine because most of the heavy lifting will be done with Bullet Punch anyways. Yeah, so, and also Scizor doesn't really care about speed that much. Like, you shouldn't really speed invest more than maybe a speed creep opposing Scizors, but Yeah, just deviating that from that EV spread needs to be done for a very good reason. And like, of course, you can try other things and tweaks, but this is one of the times where I would say don't get too creative. Like, just a simple max max on the attack and HP actually probably will do the most work for you. And then about moves, well, then I would argue Scizor really has only one move set in doubles. It has Sword Stance, Bullet Punch, Bug Bite, and Protect. So basically, Sword Stance is the setup move, which makes Scizor actually threatening, and then you have Bullet Punch for the priority and Bug Bite as like the stronger move as well as like the other stab. And then you absolutely need Protect because Scizor needs like a lot of positioning. Like you need to correct the positioning a lot of times, especially when you're set up. You need to protect very often to get like other mon in to either redirect or get a fake out support. So yeah, you just have to have protect. And technically you can have like other options, like you can have superpower or you can have feint, which is I think the most maybe reasonable kind of a tech option for Scizor. It even gets technician boosted, which is pretty funny. I would argue that it could be used over Bug Bite, but yeah. Then you can also have aerial ace, which is also technician boosted. But I would say 99% of the time, just stick to this set. To stick to the standard set, like it's just so good. There's just no reason to go go do anything else. And then about items, well, Steel Gem is by far the most common. It gives basically this sort of one-time bullet punch nuke. But you can also use leftovers to kind of give longevity and time for setup. And technically, Aqua Berry is also in play. Like if you want to be able to take one fire attack, then you can equip Aqua Berry, and even if you're playing Rain, you can actually like easily take one fire attack if you have Rain and Aqua Berry. That's essentially neutral damage. You're just like halving a 4 times weakness twice. So you can actually take one fire damage if you wish. So Aqua Berry, while it's not common, I don't think it shouldn't be out of the option at all. But Steel Gem just overall seems the most offensively pressurizing. Then Team Synergy. Yeah, Scizor fits many kinds of team weirdly enough because it's a way to kind of like counteract the other speed control. Like if you're playing Trick Room, you can use Scizor to counteract kind of fast teams when the Trick Room ends, and also if you play fast teams, you can use Scizor to counter a Trick Room. Um, so you can use it basically to counter the speed control type that you are not using, which makes Scizor very good. And also, it's very commonly played in rain teams because, as I said, it reduces the fire attack damage. So that's also a very useful thing. And then the counterplay for Scizor. Well, the obvious one is fire attacks. So just fire attacks in general, and then stuff like Salamence is very useful. It intimidates, and also has a fire attack on Scizor, which makes it one of the better counters to it. Then you also have Togekiss, which can be used to redirect Scizor's attacks. Also can carry flamethrower, so that's useful. And then intimidate in general is it's a very good way to kind of like buy time against Scizor. Like when it seems like it's trying to set up, you can freaking intimidate to kind of slow it down, to force it set up more, and kind of push it to an awkward situation where it's setting up and it doesn't know if it wants to attack or wants to set up more. So intimidate in general is just a great way to kind of prevent Scizor from sweeping teams. Yeah, that's about it really about my analysis of Scizor. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you on the next one.